Today, we're going to see if you can game on a Retina 4K iMac. So, let's get to it. Alrighty, the first game we have here is Dirt 4. Now this is a very well optimized game for 21.5-inch iMacs. In fact, this game can work on all 21.5-inch iMacs back to 2013. It was ported to Mac by Feral Interactive, who are really good at optimizing games for our platform. For instance, for this game and many others, Feral actually automatically detects the hardware of your Mac and decides on the best graphical settings to use. So for this instance, on this Mac model, we're running the game at 1600 by 900 resolution. Our quality preset is on medium and our FPS is pretty much a locked 60 frames per second. But then again, we do have VSync on. So if we do go up into the settings, graphics, we got a quality preset of medium, and then we've got the video mode all there too. But if we crank this up to 1920 by 1080, 1080p, and we turn VSync off, and then we put this at high, it can still receive a pretty decent frame rate. So we are playing right now at 1080p with 42, 43 frames per second. It's a really nice looking game, and I highly suggest it if you have a 21.5-inch iMac. Up next, we have the latest Call of Duty Mac game, which is Black Ops 3. Now this game was ported to Mac in late April, 4 years after it was released for every other platform. But it's here and it works spectacularly. Is that a word? I think it is. But anyways, we're running this game at 1920 by 1080, a high quality preset, and we are hitting pretty much an average FPS of 62. Incredible. Now this game is officially supported on all 21.5-inch iMacs from 2017 up, but they have to have an AMD GPU, so pretty much the 4K iMacs. This game does work on iMacs with integrated graphics, but it won't run terribly great, so do keep that in mind. It is 4 years old, but it still looks damn gorgeous, and it plays fantastic. It's just too bad that the multiplayer servers are dead. I know, I'm dead too. Alrighty, so our next game here is Rise of the Tomb Raider, which once again was ported to Mac by Feral Interactive back in 2018. Now they are going to be porting Shadow of the Tomb Raider later to our Mac platform this year, but that's not out yet. Anyways, so right now we're going to run a benchmark feature and we'll see how it goes. Alrighty, so here we have it here. Now for reference, this game is running at 1600 by 900 resolution. The quality preset is on high. Now as you do move into more environments that offer more of a landscape, the FPS does dip down. But when we get to the end of the benchmark, we'll see what average FPS we get. But this game is officially supported on all 21.5-inch iMacs released since late 2013, which is really impressive by Feral that they were able to get a game of this graphical fidelity to work on Macs ranging all the way back to then. And it shows the power of the Metal API. And I'm really excited to see how Shadow of the Tomb Raider runs here. Alright, so it is going to end right now. Okay, so we got an average FPS of 45, which is pretty decent. 60 FPS would be a bit nicer, especially at 1600 by 900, but I'm not complaining. This game is perfectly playable and it just looks gorgeous. Alright, we are in game now, and I really like to play on this level because it just offers a pretty good demonstration of what this game offers. But we are getting average FPS of about 40, 45. So yeah, Rise of the Tomb Raider is a pretty good example of just a quality AAA game that you can get on Mac. And I really wish that we could get more games that offer the same experience that this one offers. But my hopes are only dreaming that this, one day, how do I jump up there? That one day we're able to get some more games with this type of quality, because wouldn't that be amazing? Beautiful. Okay, Divinity Original Sin 2. Now, this game, first up, the default settings, it's run it at the Ultra preset, 1920 by 1080, and it's running at about 35 frames per second, which is pretty decent, but I don't want 35 frames per second. I want around 60. Okay, so we are now running the game at 1080 high settings, and we've got Bloom off, I believe, and VSync off, but we're getting about 53 FPS. So if we want to go lower than that, then we can go to about 1600 by 900, and we should get about 60 FPS. Yeah, so now we've got about 60 FPS. But this game runs really great, and I was really impressed that it's able to run at Ultra preset and still receive a pretty decent frame rate of 30. I mean, 30 isn't amazing, but it's still very playable. The 21.5-inch iMacs are supported for this game back to 2017, and it is even supported on integrated graphics cards. Bam! Okay, so there's a lot of stuff on this table, but anyways, so 2017 and up, 4K iMacs can support eGPUs as well, and this is a Blackmagic eGPU, and running Divinity Original Sin 2 here, we are able to play at 100 frames per second at 1080p, and that's in Ultra settings. So that's a pretty big improvement from what we were running at before, which was like 1600 by 900. You can also crank up the settings all the way to 4K and still receive about 45 frames per second at Ultra. So it's really a very capable eGPU. It is quite expensive though, but it does work very well. It's just when you have an eGPU connected, you have to have an external monitor connected as well. And I happen to have this gigantic 32-inch 4K monitor. Just trying to fix it.
You look really sad. It's like pushed your eyebrows down. So you look really sad. I don't know why.
Alrighty. So here we have the VR game, GunSpinning VR, and it works pretty well here. Bearing in mind that we are playing it at a really bizarre resolution, but it works here because we have a pretty decent graphics card in this. VR is supported on Mac through Steam VR. However, we don't have many games that are supported. There's like 10 games, but it works somewhat well. Just a quick demo here. It all works well. We're playing at about 90 frames per second, which is really impressive. And the fact that I'm not needing an eGPU to run it as well, just playing it off my Mac is pretty cool. But I don't know how many people are going to buy a VR headset to play 10 VR games. I don't know. But yeah, cool, it works. Alrighty gang, let's test some games under Windows 10. The first one we have here is, what's this called? World War Z. And this was a recently released game. And under Windows, we are playing it at 720p, 1280 by 720, and we are getting about 60 frames per second. However, if we put it up to, let's see, if we put it up to 1080p, it is still very playable. And the next Windows game we have here is the great new FPS game, Metro Exodus. Now this one is quite demanding. So we are running this game at 1080p, high settings, and hitting around 55 FPS, 60 FPS. If you didn't know, the previous Metro games were actually available for macOS. So I'm really hoping that, they port this game to our platform, seeing as the previous ones were on Mac, but here's hoping. But the game runs pretty well here, even though it is quite a demanding title. I'll do the ending with this on.
I'm so sad.
Alrighty, so that is gaming on a 21.5-inch iMac. This is obviously the latest one, and it works pretty well. Depending on the release of your 21.5-inch iMac, it will vary. Hopefully this video has educated you on what is possible on here in terms of macOS and also playing some games on Windows. And if you want to continue your Mac gaming adventure, here are 2 other videos that you can get immersed in. So I'll see you there.